On Past Paradise, we explore the lives of your favorite Hollywood stars. Clint Eastwood, known for his timeless performances and illustrious career, revealed the heartbreaking news on live television in today's episode. Clint boldly discussed his health issues and problems with fans worldwide. This news shocked and saddened many since the renowned actor has made decades of cinematic contributions. Join us as we discuss this emotional moment, Clint's extraordinary journey, and how his strength and perseverance are inspiring millions. To obtain the newest Past Paradise news, like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. In general, Clint Eastwood has 8 offspring who will get his exceptional genes from him. One of those kids he just met when she was 34. While they may not all have the same mother, those kids all have Eastwood as their father. Therefore, it's safe to conclude that this isn't the most straightforward family in Hollywood. Clint Eastwood was a busy guy with several personal relationships, but it didn't stop him from being an excellent parent. Now that they are all adults, his children all have opulent lives worthy of members of the Eastwood family. Telling the Eastwood family's tale might be difficult when unsure where to begin. A head start. Clint Eastwood was reportedly in his first love encounters as a teenager. We need to go back to his early high school years. When he was 14, there was the traditional girl next door. The one that came next was a bit less traditional. At 19, Eastwood had his first stalker. Although her identity is unknown, she was a 20-something school teacher, according to a 1980s interview with Us Weekly. After a brief period of dating, she threatened to hurt herself if they split up. Ouch! Getting hitched to. The tale of Clint Eastwood and Margaret Maggie Johnson's first marriage is one of love at first sight. When Maggie started dating Clint in 1953, he was still trying to break through in Hollywood, and Maggie was employed as a secretary. A mutual acquaintance arranged a blind date for them, and they felt they were destined to be together forever. Even if she was his first wife, Maggie wasn't Clint's sole love relationship. Despite their early chemistry, they did not enjoy the happily ever after that you would hope for in a marriage, and their marriage did not survive forever. Everything good ends. Less than a year after their first date, Clint Eastwood and Margaret Johnson were married following a flurry of passion. The pair went on to have 2 children together, Allison and Kyle, and seemed happy. But problems were simmering under the surface of their marriage, problems that would ultimately cause them to split up. Their relationship was strained by Clint Eastwood's previous personal connections and a kid he had fathered secretly. Despite their difficulties, Clint Eastwood and Margaret Johnson co-parented their children after they had already split. They stayed dedicated to their family. Too little. To suggest that there was a bumpy beginning to Clint Eastwood and Margaret Johnson's marriage would be the understatement of the century. Clint feels that he and Johnson should have waited to be married until they were more established, since they were too young to get married, according to film historian Richard Schickel. 2 years after his marriage, in 1955, Clint Eastwood began having relationships with his fellow cast members. In the Mamie Van Doren movie, Star in the Dust, he had a small, uncredited part. If you understand what we mean, the two developed a closer friendship than castmates after meeting on site. Not monogamous. Mamie Van Doren is by no means the only lady who dated Clint Eastwood while the actor was still wed to Johnson. Clint's adulterous companions, not only his castmates, could support a tiny independent community. Okay, maybe we're overstating a touch, but even so, he traveled far in his prime. His resume included models, Kathy Regan, Bridget Byrne, journalists, Gail Green, athletes, competition swimmer Anita Lohest, and other ladies in show business, actresses Catherine Deneuve, Susan St. James, and Jill Banner, among others. It's already been implied that Clint was involved in many honeypot situations. Getting to know. A remarkable 14 years passed during the love relationship between Clint Eastwood and Roxanne Tunis. When they first met, it was on the set of the well-watched Western TV series Rawhide, where Tunis worked as a stuntwoman and dancer, and Eastwood played Rowdy Yates. They had a clear spark, and their relationship became passionate before long. On the set of Rawhide, their connection was kept a secret, although rumor has it that Eastwood's then-girlfriend Maggie was unaware of it. Eastwood and Tunis continued to visit one another despite the difficulties of concealing their affair, and their union lasted for more than 10 years. Initially trained father. The connection between Roxanne Tunis and Clint Eastwood went beyond a simple liaison. Their daughter, Kimberlin, was born into their union before Eastwood's official marriage with Maggie Johnson. With the advent of Kimberlin, Eastwood experienced parenthood for the first time. But for many years, the public was kept in the dark about the birth of his kid. The entertainment world was rocked when Kimberlin's existence was made public in 1989 via an article in the National Enquirer. Despite his initial silence, Eastwood finally accepted Kimberlin as his daughter and verified the information. Dating Sandra Locke. Actress Sandra Locke first got to know Clint Eastwood in 1972. They took their time when they first began dating and didn't move in together for 3 years. The Sherman Oaks home the couple shared was the same one Eastwood had previously occupied with his first wife, Maggie. Locke found the living conditions difficult too, since, at the time, Eastwood and Maggie were still legally married. Eastwood had many memories of the home, and Locke felt she always lived in Maggie's shadow. Locke thus requested Eastwood to locate a new residence so they could begin over and create a future free from the burden of the past. Getting around. Sandra Locke moving into their old house did not sit well with Maggie Johnson. She was reluctant to let Locke see her kids and did not want her on her property. Consequently, Eastwood and Locke decided to move into a new Bel Air home, which would need extensive remodeling over 3 years. The couple relocated from one house to another while renovating, staying in Tuberon, California, and Sun Valley, Idaho, among other locations. Despite these difficulties, Locke and Eastwood remained close and kept up their collaboration in the film business. Maggie's divorce. Recall how we promised to discuss Johnson and Eastwood's divorce later? This is where we honor our word. After Clint and Maggie divorced in 1984, it is said that Maggie received a settlement of $25 to $30 million. The couple had formally separated in 1978. Sandra was reportedly lawfully married when she was seeing Clint, but in her situation, things were different. She was only legally married on paper to artist Gordon Anderson, her spouse. In addition to being homosexual, Anderson lived with a male roommate. According to evidence given in court, this marriage was only ever intended as a convenient arrangement. Extremely differing. Clint Eastwood and Sandra Locke have divergent opinions about having kids. Locke wanted to have children, but Eastwood had no interest in doing so. Locke fell pregnant twice while they were dating, and both times it was said that Eastwood put pressure on her to have an abortion. Locke ultimately decided to get her tubes tied to avoid becoming pregnant again. This problem was one of the main causes of Locke and Gordon Anderson's final divorce and their marriage. Although their friendship would become tense in the following years, Locke and Eastwood collaborated on multiple projects despite their disagreements. Divorcing. Locke and Eastwood had a 14-year relationship described as committed and monogamous, even though they were never legally married. I truly believe that Clint and I did not need papers to validate our commitments to each other, Sandra stated. But for them, things took a turn for the worse. They tragically split up in 1989, and although they were never wed, their divorce-like breakup included a protracted palimony litigation. Incredibly, Eastwood managed to handle these marital problems and maintain his high activity level in Hollywood. Gathering with Jaselyn. Clint Eastwood has been involved in many relationships, including with Jaselyn Reeves. Though not much is known about their relationship, certain facts surfaced. Reeves first got to know Eastwood in the 1980s when she was working as a flight attendant out of Hawaii, and he was still seeing Sandra Locke. The two allegedly got acquainted at the Hog's Breath, an inn owned by Eastwood, and shortly after that, they began dating. The couple gave birth to 2 children, Katherine and Scott, who were kept a secret for many years until the mid-2000s. And that's a tremendous secret to hold on to for so long, in terms of secrets. Having 2 lives. Locke was incensed upon learning about Eastwood's liaison with Reeves. The topic of having children was one of the things that divided them the most in their relationship. Locke was furious at the thought of him having children with someone else, even if she had her tubes shut. "My mind was still searching to get all his actions lined up," Locke said. "For at least 4 years, Clint had been living this double life, going between me and this other woman, and having children with her. 2 babies had been born during the last 3 years of our relationship, and they weren't mine." Frances Fisher relationship. Eastwood enjoys collecting mementos from the shows in which he has acted, which often include a female co-star. Actress Frances Fisher is another love companion of Eastwood's. The two originally worked together in the 1989 picture Pink Cadillac. Their romance started as a casual, non-exclusive, but 2 years later it became serious and well-known. Fisher moved in with Eastwood in 1990, and the two worked on another film, Unforgiven, together in 1992. In 1993, they gave birth to a daughter named Francesca. They never wedded each other, even if they weren't married then. Over my head. Like many other ladies throughout the last half-century, it seems Eastwood's alluring charisma also captivated Fisher. When questioned about her connection with Clint, she said she believed it was over, not knowing that he had a similar impact on many other women. Once again, Eastwood had kids wherever he went and concealed these births for reasons related to his career. For 6 months, Frances and Francesca's pregnancy was kept under wraps because Clint didn't want the scandal to overshadow his Oscar campaign. Observing the miracle life. Francesca is the daughter of Frances Fisher, an actress, and Clint Eastwood, an actor and director. Although Eastwood had 6 children by the time Francesca was born, he had never attended the birth of his other children. As a parent, he felt that the birth of Francesca was a momentous occasion. But his marriage to Reeves was short-lived. They split up 2 years after Francesca was born. Frances had thought the romance would endure and was devastated by the split. Despite the circumstances, Francesca has followed a profession in acting and modeling and has grown up to have a strong connection with her father and siblings. Splitting up with Frances. After everything was said and done, Clint Eastwood's inability to stay true was the reason for the breakup with Frances Fisher. It seems that he was having an affair with Jaselyn Reeves while he was still dating Fisher, and she found out about it all. It was obvious that things were going to become worse. Clint and Frances ended their 14-year romance in 1995. Before being ready to move on, Fisher agonized about the relationship for 2 years. After this one, she hasn't been in any recognized partnerships. Since nothing following Clint would be an improvement, let's face it. Another surprise child. A story that Eastwood had a kid he was ignorant of appeared in 1993, just before Francesca was born. The lady from Washington claimed to be seeking her original parents and that Eastwood was her father. Over the years that followed the rumor, no hard proof surfaced to support or contradict the woman's assertion. But the story persisted in the media, with some reporting that the lady had tested positive for fatherhood in a high-probability DNA test, while others discounted the story as unfounded. The identity of the purported love child is still unknown, and Eastwood has never publicly responded to the allegation or accepted the woman's claim. Getting hitched, Dina. After a string of wild oats, children, affairs, and erratic dating, often simultaneously, Eastwood thought the time had come to settle down again. This time, he had fallen deeply in love with Dina Ruiz, the news reporter. She is, as it happens, 35 years his junior. When Ruiz and Eastwood first met in 1993 during an interview, it seemed like a spark ignited between them immediately. The pair decided to put a ring on it after only 3 years. The rest is history, as they say. The Shadow Creek Golf Course in Las Vegas served as the venue for their wedding. 3 years later, their daughter Morgan was born. Increased screen time. After starring in 2 of Eastwood's films, Bloodwork and True Crime, Dina Ruiz featured in an E-reality TV series like The Kardashians. Mrs. Eastwood and Company followed her, her daughter Morgan, and her stepdaughter Francesca as they went about their daily lives. Clint Eastwood and Jade Birdie, Dina's sister-in-law, and the comedian Groucho Marx's granddaughter, would sometimes appear on the program. Although it wasn't the most captivating reality TV program ever produced, we can all appreciate that it's about the Eastwood family. Nothing is everlasting. During her appearance on Chelsea Lately, Ruiz spoke about her connection with Eastwood and said that divorce rates are high in Hollywood marriages. She had no idea that she was foretelling her destiny. Many believed their relationship would succeed when they had a kid together and stayed married for several years. However, after 10 years of marriage, the two were divorced. Although the circumstances for their split are a bit hazy, Eastwood seemed content with the reality program that was chronicling their lives at the time of their marital disintegration. Someone else. It has been stated that Eastwood had numerous relationships after splitting up with Ruiz, most of which were women significantly younger than him. There was Christina Sandera, a restaurant server, 33 years younger than him, and Erica Tomlinson Fisher, a photographer, 41 years younger. At the 2015 Oscars, he even made the latter public. Not a single one of those ladies had kids with him, at least none that we are aware of. If there's one thing we've learned about Eastwood, it's always anticipating the unexpected, not to mention the fact that he has dated these women in public. More may have been possible. Kimberlin Eastwood. Kimberlin was born in 1964. Her mother, Roxanne Tunis, was a longtime partner of Clint Eastwood and a former actress, dancer, and stuntwoman. Although she dabbled in performing for a while, her real love is makeup artistry. She has worked on several film and television projects and established herself as a competent makeup artist. Her most well-known job, meanwhile, has been as a makeup artist on the popular game show Wheel of Fortune, where she has contributed to more than 400 episodes. Lynn is well respected in the entertainment world because of her skill and commitment, and she is still successful in her line of work. Career of Kimber. Apart from her actress and makeup artist career, Kimberlin has established herself as a renowned producer. Her debut feature picture, Rapture, a post-apocalyptic sci-fi thriller, won praise from critics in 2014. She has since created several additional works, such as the 2018 short film Piggy, which she also helmed. Kimberlin, like her father, Clint Eastwood, has been married many times. Through her first marriage to Anthony Gaddy, she gave birth to a boy called Clinton. After more than 10 years of dating, Kimber is presently wed to producer Sean Midkiff. Kyle Eastwood, son. Clint Eastwood's son, Kyle, has also established himself in the entertainment industry, but in a different role. Born in 1968, Kyle is a gifted jazz musician who has put out 9 studio albums and composed music for several of his father's motion pictures, such as Mystic River and Gran Torino. Although he first thought about pursuing an acting career and spent 2 years in film school, Kyle ultimately followed his passion for music and gave it his all. Throughout his 3-decade career, Kyle has become one of the most talented jazz bassists of his time. He has worked with several well-known musicians and performed in some of the most prominent music venues on the planet. The Kyle family. Clint Eastwood has a particular place in his heart for Kyle Eastwood, since he is the first kid born into the legendary actor and director's marriage. Clint and Maggie have a daughter, Allison, in addition to Kyle. Kyle has finally established his own family with a daughter called Graylin Spencer Eastwood, who is pursuing a prosperous career in the entertainment world. Graylin, a well-known rock musician, is 26 years old and has played at several places nationwide. With Kyle and Graylin performing live in various venues, it seems that the Eastwood family has a deep passion for music. Daughter Allison Eastwood. Allison, Kyle's younger sister, is no longer so small. She has accomplished a lot in her life as she approaches her 50s. Allison had a brief career as a model, which included a mention in Playboy magazine, but she is also a successful actor thanks to her father's influence. In addition, Allison is the owner of Eastwood Ranch Apparel, a clothing brand. Allison had the opportunity to co-star in her father's movie, The Mule, as an actor. Like father, like daughter, Allison also dabbled in filmmaking, serving as director of commercials and the television series Unleashed. Life of Allison. Clint Eastwood's daughter Allison has made a name for herself as an animal lover and philanthropist, carrying on her father's legacy. She has been married twice. Her current spouse is Stacey Portress, an artist. She had spent a year of marriage to actor Kirk Fox before that. Allison is interested in animal rescue and care outside of her personal life. She established the Eastwood Ranch Foundation, a nonprofit that saves animals from shelters and pounds and gives them food, housing, and medical attention. The foundation sponsors educational events and activities to advance animal welfare and increase public knowledge of animal rights. Scott Eastwood, son. As the son of Clint Eastwood and Jaselyn Reeves, Scott Eastwood has inherited his father's outstanding acting skills and attractive looks. Thanks to his parts in box office hits like Suicide Squad and Pacific Rim Uprising, Scott has established himself as a well-known figure in Hollywood. In 2006, Scott made his cinematic debut in one of his father's films, Flags of Our Fathers, in a minor part. Clint and Jaselyn have a daughter, Katherine, in addition to Scott. Renowned for his endearing demeanor and remarkable acting abilities, Scott has swiftly risen to the top of the acting profession's demand list. Scott's professional journey. When Scott Eastwood began his acting career, he had enough faith in his skills. For the first several years of his career, he did not even adopt his father's name, since he wanted to establish himself as a standalone actor. Although we understand the reasoning, this kind of action wasn't required in the end. However, he did collaborate with his father on the Gran Torino set in 2008. Following the movie's premiere, Scott started receiving acting credits under the name Scott Eastwood, and he has continued to add acting credits to his resume ever since. Appropriate film star. Despite his thriving career, Scott Eastwood maintains a private life. He is a rising star in Hollywood, having landed big parts in blockbusters like The Fate of the Furious and Pacific Rim Uprising. Not much is known about his love life, save for his prior connection with Jewel Brangman, who unfortunately went unexpectedly in a vehicle accident in 2014. Scott is still modest and committed to his work despite his success. He has been acclaimed for his acting ability and passions for his parts, and he continues to work hard to establish himself as one of Hollywood's most brilliant actors. Katherine Eastwood, daughter. Actress and writer Katherine Reeves is well known for her gripping storytelling abilities and fascinating performances. Katherine, who was raised as the younger sister of Scott Eastwood and the daughter of Jaselyn Reeves, has also had a deep love for the entertainment industry. Over the years, Katherine has built a reputation for herself in Hollywood by penning two hit scripts, Virus of the Dead, 2015, and American Virus, 2018. Both reviewers and audiences have praised her distinct narrative technique. In addition to her work as a writer, Katherine is a gifted actor who has acted in some films, including 2014's Jersey Boys, House Slave, and Mr. and Mrs. Mewes, Retribution, starring Clint Eastwood. Francesca Eastwood, daughter. Like her parents before her, the little Francesca Eastwood is a classic glamour girl. Her first on-screen appearance was in the 1995 film The Stars Fell on Henrietta when she was barely 2. She also landed several fantastic acting gigs between 1999 and 2014, despite her hiatus from the public eye. Olivia Jones from the television series Oh You Pretty Things was her first significant part, and she has continued to thrive ever since. Her most recent appearance was in the 2019 movie Awake. Francesca's mother is Frances Fisher, who was romantically linked to Eastwood throughout the 1990s. Francesca's relationships. When Francesca Eastwood was barely 20 years old, she temporarily married Jordan Feldstein, the brother of well-known actor Jonah Hill, making headlines at an early age. But they just had a week of married life before calling it quits. In addition, Francesca is well known for her roles in reality television, having been in episodes of Mrs. Eastwood and Company and the Mother-Daughter Experiment Celebrity Edition. In 2018, Francesca and her boyfriend, actor Alexander Wraith, had their first child, a son called Titan. Despite the short incident in her personal life, Francesca has used her attractive appearance and remarkable acting abilities to establish herself as a major player in the entertainment business. Morgan Eastwood, daughter. From an early age, Morgan Eastwood, the only child of the late great actor and director Clint Eastwood and his ex-wife, news anchor Dina Ruiz, got a taste of the entertainment world. Despite just being 23 years old, Morgan has already earned a name for herself in the business because of her remarkable acting abilities and gorgeous appearance. Like her siblings, she had tiny playing parts when she was younger, with her first one being in the 2008 film Changeling. However, she likes to hide her private affairs from the public, and not much is known about them. Morgan's professional journey. Since she was a young girl, Morgan Eastwood has been involved in the entertainment business. As a child, Morgan appeared in a few mini roles in films like $1 Million Baby, but her performances were well received by both reviewers and viewers. In 2019, Morgan's only acting role as an adult was in the short film I See You. However, her roles in the reality program Mrs. Eastwood and Company, which tracked the lives of Morgan, her mother, and half-sister Francesca, have caught her attention. Morgan is interested in social media, fashion, modeling, and performing. Laurie Murray, daughter. Clint Eastwood's daughter, Laurie Murray, had a distinct path of connection with her father. Clint didn't know about her until she was 34 years old, making her the oldest kid he knew of, yet the latest to join his convoluted family tree. Though Laurie's birth and childhood were marked by unique circumstances, she reunited with Clint many years ago and has remained in his life ever since. However, Laurie's tale didn't become widely known until 2018, when it caught the interest of both fans and the media. Finding Laurie. Fans in the media have been following Laurie, Clint Eastwood's mysterious daughter, as she steadily ascends to prominence. Laurie was raised in the shadow of her father's celebrity, but she maintained her modest existence for a long time by avoiding the limelight. In recent years, she has, meanwhile, become more comfortable venturing into the spotlight, often making an appearance at red carpet events with her father and other family members. Laurie has gained a lot of popularity due to her calm elegance and subtle beauty, and many people are excited to see what this rising star will do in the future. Not aware of it. For the Eastwood family, the 2004 Oscars were especially memorable as they honored Clint's nomination for Best Director for Mystic River. It was also a night of reunions when Laurie finally met her paternal grandmother, Ruth Wood. Laurie assisted her 90-something-year-old grandma in entering the event as they walked the red carpet together. Despite the moment's importance, Laurie was overlooked by the public and media, who believed she was just another guest rather than the daughter of one of Hollywood's most recognizable characters. Story of Laurie. Clint and his family were taken aback when Laurie's paternity was revealed. The public was not made aware of the information until many years later when Laurie decided to look for her biological parents as an adult. She ultimately connected with Clint after finding her biological mother with the aid of a private detective. They could never completely make up for lost time, but they could get back together and become close. Laurie had a happy upbringing because of her adopted parents, who loved and cared for her despite the initial mystery surrounding her origin. Reaching down. In her 30s, Laurie decided to attempt to trace her birth parents in the hopes of reestablishing her biological roots, but she never expected to make any startling findings. Laurie discovered that Lakewood, Washington, was her birthplace when she began to investigate her background. And this was not the only thing she would learn in the end. When her mother signed the papers to place her for adoption, she discovered it. The father's name on the form was unexpectedly recognizable, but the mother had little desire to contact her long-lost daughter. By now, the fact that it was Clint Eastwood should come as no surprise, given what this piece is about. A comfy hug. When Laurie found out the truth about her birth, she was shocked to see that Clint Eastwood's name had been entered as her father on the birth certificate by her biological mother. She contacted him despite not knowing what type of answer she would get. She was thrilled that Clint was open to having a new daughter. According to a Daily Mail article, Laurie was relieved that he was kind and sympathetic toward her. It's important to remember that not all cases between biological parents and hidden children end in such a happy way, but Laurie was lucky to have such a kind and encouraging reaction from Clint. Pursuing financial gains. Clint, who has had many love experiences, would not be shocked to learn they have a hidden kid. Therefore, it makes sense that someone may have used it against him to profit. But in Laurie's opinion, it was very certainly not the case. Yes, it wasn't at all how things were with Laurie. Laurie and her family are wealthy in their own right, a family member of Laurie's told Daily Mail, adding that she was only hoping to get back in touch. Things may have turned out quite differently if Laurie hadn't been wealthy. Whatever the situation, however, she desired to get back in touch. Family of Laurie. Although Laurie's life has taken many unexpected twists, her marriage to Lowell Thomas, Toby Murray, has given her stability and contentment. They have a strong bond and affection for one another, and Toby is the heir to his family's lumber company, which has existed for over a century. It's possible that Laurie's affluent familial background contributed to her relationship with Toby, but their bond is undoubtedly based on love and respect for one another. Laurie is a proud mother to her 2 children, Lowell Thomas and Kelsey Hayford, and her spouse. Making for time. Clint Eastwood, Lowell Thomas's grandpa, and LT, as they are fondly called, have become close. As stated by LT, according to a Daily Mail story, Clint has been Laurie's excellent father and has tried his hardest to make up for missed time. In addition, Clint has been a tremendous presence in LT's life and has always shown kindness and warmth to LT and his family. LT is happy to have gained a new family member in Clint and feels privileged to have had the chance to get to know him. Family tree extension. Laurie seems to have achieved more than mending her damaged ties with her siblings and father. However, she also successfully built a relationship with Ruth, Clint's mother. It is said that the two became rather close before Ruth died in 2006. 2 years before Ruth's death in 2004, they were seen together at the Oscars, as we previously reported. However, a Daily Mail insider claims that the two were close and often got together. Laurie would often visit her, and to make up for all the wasted time, the two would exchange tales. Pleasures of parenting. Clint Eastwood's love and lengthy list of romantic partners would provide an excellent basis for her soap drama, but he proves to be a much more stable guy as a parent than you would ever imagine. He was fortunate to have children who grew up as decent people and accomplished artists. After following his example, most pursued careers as actors, directors, and producers. We eagerly await a massive motion picture starring all of them, directed by their renowned father. Whatever the situation, the Eastwood family has a very bright future ahead of them, an amazing history, and Clint's tremendous life and work.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon